Hello and welcome to Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio. This is Stefan, your host, British by birth, American by choice. The Founding Fathers crafted some remarkable documents that led to the creation of a great country founded on liberty and self-reliance. I have lived in the Euro-socialist nightmare, and I'm doing what I can to return this country to the vision that the Founding Fathers gave us. We need to strive to rebuild that shining city on the hill, for without us, the world has nowhere to turn for freedom. For the next hour, I will be presenting news, views, and guests that help keep the true spirit of America alive. Good evening, friends, listeners. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately. Tonight, again, a slightly different show. I'm very sad to have to announce that yet another friend has left us. This weekend, and the email came on Sunday, but I was busy, didn't get to my email, so it was only when I left Atlanta on Monday morning, which is unusual for me. I normally travel on a Sunday evening, but for various reasons I left on Monday, that I was reading my email at the airport, and I saw the shocking news. And basically, what had happened is that Primo Mondone, the owner, the CEO, the program director, call him what you will, of Red State Talk Radio, passed apparently sometime on Saturday. And I know for many of us, and I think there are over 30 hosts on the Red State Talk Radio network now, this was a huge shock. A number of them are actually at CPAC this week, and so for them as well, a great shock. All the messages that I saw from the hosts to and from and things, we were all very much in a state of shock, and I think I still am. I first got to know Primo over 5 years ago when I just started at Blog Talk Radio, which was at that time was probably the best avenue for this sort of live podcast broadcast. And after being there for a number of months, I was contacted by Primo, who said he had a network of conservative talk show hosts, and he invited me to be part of that. And of course, I was very honored, and after joining it, I learned what a very august company I was keeping. There were a lot of very good hosts on there. But it didn't end there. As I said, that was over 5 years ago, and I've been with Red State Talk Radio all that time. And Primo was always pushing us to get better. After a while, he wanted us to switch from Blog Talk Radio to improve the audio quality. Blog Talk Radio had one big advantage, was that I could have dialing guests, and the other hosts could have dialing guests, but the big disadvantage was that everything went via the telephone, and the quality for the host as well as for the guests was not the best. So Primo encouraged us to switch to better quality. But in the Blog Talk Radio times, we had some fun. He joined me on a couple of my shows when I had round robins and forums. I appeared on his Red State Town Hall show along with Ken Brown as a dial-in and once as an official guest. As I said, he was always pushing us to get better. He was also always improving the network. A short while ago, he merged with the WDFP Restoring America network to make this channel even better, and now he does have, in effect, two channels broadcasting 24/7. He was active in encouraging terrestrial stations to carry his feed so that people without computers could hear. He had an app made so that you could listen via an app. There was a phone number that you could dial in to listen. So always working hard to improve, and to get us to improve, and setting us a very high standard. Every so often we'd get a blistering email if people were not meeting his high standards of quality, and saying, make sure that your sound levels are good, or this, that, or the other, your timing is right, because it's very important to get the timing right when you're running a network and you have to stitch all these different shows together. So yes, it was a great shock to hear that he'd passed, especially because after all these years, I'd finally got to meet Primo. In actual fact, just 6 days before he passed, and can't remember. I think I mentioned it on the show last week that I'd finally got to meet him, and then this news. Now, of course, he does leave behind a great legacy, right? Having really built, I think, that unequivocally is the premier conservative talk radio network on the internet, right? Again, especially after that merger with WDFP Restoring America Radio. It's going to be difficult to continue. It hurts even doing it today, just thinking about it. But we owe it to him to keep his legacy going and to grow it. I was one of the hosts on a daytime show, one that's broadcast during the day live. I had invited other hosts to dial in and to talk about Primo, which I did on Monday, and we both agreed as we talked there that we can't let this legacy of his disappear. We have to keep it going. We have to grow it. Really, this is perhaps the best memorial for him. So, what else? What else can I say? I mean, he was a great man. When we saw him just over a week ago now, he joked a little bit about his health problems, the fact that he'd had a scare with his heart, and it's, from what I've heard, it seems like that caught up with him, kind of prescient there of him to make a joke about that, but it caught up with him. We're going to miss him, but hopefully, as I said, we can keep this legacy going, this great network going, because it does so much for the cause, and I know he will be sitting up there watching and thinking about us, and hopefully encouraging us still to grow the network and to provide a better product, a better show each and every time. So I would want to play one of Red State Talk Radio Network's kind of promotion things in his honor, so I can take a bit of a breath.
Hi, I'm Trevor Loudon. I'm the author of The Enemies Within, Communists, Socialists and Progressives in the United States Congress. I'm concerned about America because America's getting weaker and your enemies are getting stronger. If this carries on, this could lead to America's demise and the demise of freedom all over the planet. A few years ago, in the late 1990s, a top man in Russian military intelligence defected to the United States. He outlined a chilling scenario for how the Russians and the Chinese would take out America if it comes to war. And every time Obama weakens your military, that brings that one step closer. The Russians have a very unreliable army, too many drunks and too many Muslims. They've got a massive number of nuclear armaments. The Chinese don't have so many nukes, but they have a massive surplus of young men, up to 20 to 30 million of them. They've been aborting baby girls for so long, they now have millions of men who will never marry, and that's a social problem for them waiting to explode. So if it comes to war, this is what they plan. Russia will nuke the continental United States in a surprise attack. They think they can take out most of your nukes in their bunkers. They will then invade Alaska and parts of Canada, but stop at the border. The Chinese will come across the Pacific in wave after wave after wave. They know they will lose 10 or 20 million men, but that's fine. That solves the problem for them. Then they get a foothold in the continental United States and start to invade. Meanwhile, the Cubans, the Nicaraguans, the Venezuelans, and probably a whole bunch of Islamic sympathizers who will move up with them, will come into the southern United States for looting rights to carry away anything they can steal. Then China will occupy this country. It's a very chilling scenario. It doesn't even factor in EMP attacks, cyber attacks, terrorist attacks, anthrax attacks, or any other scenarios your enemies have planned. All this depends on America being weak enough and your enemies being strong enough that they will be willing to take the gamble. The good news is this. You have RedStateTalkRadio.com. You have people out there who are willing to tell you the truth and help America stay strong. Red State Talk Radio is a dominant force in conservative internet talk radio. This is where you will find the truth. This is where you will find the tools to keep America strong. Keep listening. Keep fighting for America. The Western world depends on us.
Okay, folks, so the show must go on. Primo would be the first to say that. And so we have to continue bringing the message. And so tonight, I know for those of you listening live, it is Super Tuesday. It looks like Trump has won about 6 states. Cruz 2, and right now Rubio actually won the Minnesota caucuses, so he's got one glimmer of hope, but he's definitely very far behind in Florida. He claims he caught up a lot in Virginia, but he didn't make it in Virginia. Be interesting to see what happens over the next few days with Florida, and whether or not Rubio can pull in. Now, I will say, rumors have now surfaced of some secret tape with the New York Times where Trump has been saying that he wouldn't do everything that he's been saying with immigration. He wouldn't build the wall. I would be very shocked if that's true. And there's been so much hype, so many things, well, let's just say flat out lied by the media. So I don't know where this rumor came from and how much of it is true or not. If it were true, then I think a lot of us would really feel betrayed by Donald Trump. Don't know why he would have done that, but we'll see. So who knows? Maybe in a future week I can have a section on the show called Trump the Hypocrite. Maybe, maybe not. right now I'm positive and like to think that everything that he said he means. Things that he said in the past are different. Maybe he's changed now, but if he said something recently that's different to what he's saying in public, then yes, I think a lot of us would be disappointed, because we're really hoping that this is a straight shooter, and that he says what he thinks, but he always says what he means. Okay, so however, we still have to pay the rent, as I like to say, and so I'm going to take a quick short break now. I'll be back after these messages.
You can lose 10, 20, 30 pounds or more with Maximum Slim's first ever rapid weight loss guarantee. Today, you get Maximum Slim, an advanced fat and carb blocker, absolutely risk-free. The all-natural ingredients in Maximum Slim are a powerful weight loss combination. The Maximum Slim formula turns your body into a fat-burning furnace that supercharges your weight loss. Advanced fat and carb blocker stops the breakdown of sugar so your body doesn't store it as fat. Today, you'll get both of these products absolutely risk-free with no obligation. Only pay shipping. There are no expensive meal plans or exhausting DVDs. Just take Maximum Slim twice a day. It's fast, simple, and now it's guaranteed. Look, you can start losing weight today or not. Go back to your high school days and wear your favorite jeans again. Guaranteed. Call now and get both weight loss formulas free. Call 800-451-0228. 800-451-0228. That's 800-451-0228.
Doc, you gotta give it to me straight.
All right.
'Cause I'm dying here. I mean, take a look at this letter from the IRS.
Oh, my.
This is killing me, Doc. I tell you, it's killing me.
Cheer up, my friend.
Huh?
The tax doctor is here. My diagnosis tells me that you're going to be just fine.
Really?
The tax doctor will not rest until we find you the best possible tax settlement.
Really, Doc?
Guaranteed.
If the IRS claims you owe them $10,000 or more in business or personal back taxes, call a tax doctor right now. We could save you up to 75% if you qualify. Guaranteed, or you pay nothing. Call right now for free details.
800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. That's 800-917-8546.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, coming to you live via the internet, via rebroadcast on WRSDB, the Red State Talk Radio Network, or from the recordings at archives.patrickcomelately.us.
And thanks for sticking with me through that break. This is Stephen, your Patrick Come Lately, broadcasting live on Super Tuesday. But as most of my listeners listen to the recording, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. We'll try and squeeze in a little bit of an analysis towards the end of the show when we'll see what other results are in. So I was collecting some things together over the week, and every time I collected something, it all seemed to kind of point to the word hypocrite. So I think that's along with the sad news topic of the show. I think hypocrites is the other major subject line for the show. And let's start with Sunday night. Sunday night was the Oscars. So my wife said, well, I'd like to watch it. I said, well, I'm not really all that interested, but hey, sit down in front of the TV. Let's watch it. Well, I think we got in 30 seconds, maybe 60 seconds, maybe even 90 seconds. But anyway, pretty quickly, as soon as Chris Rock started his monologue, or more of a diatribe, we switched it off. And so not much else on TV to watch, because basically everybody was kind of thinking the Oscars would preempt everything. So we're just sort of sitting around doing other things, and I was thinking, and I heard that, and and like I said, it's what I heard afterwards because I didn't actually listen to the show. But I heard that there are all sorts of left-wing diatribes from all the people appearing. All the usual causes, and global warming and immigration and this and that, and rich people and this, that, the other. And I thought, isn't that strange? Let's think about it. Hollywood, right, which is a group of pretty much lily white, very rich, very polluting, because they all drive around in expensive cars and fly around in private jets, and non-law abiding. Most of them think they're above the law and can do what they like, and occasionally one or two of them will get caught and get their wrists slapped. Very, very occasionally somebody will get a reasonable sentence, something for which you and I normally would get 2 or 3 or 4 times the sentence that most Hollywood people get. So here they are, lily white, rich, polluting, and non-law abiding, and they're the ones trying to tell us how to live our lives. Isn't that just typical liberal, that the elitists think that they know best and that they can force everybody else to do what they think is best for everybody? So, again, as I heard, it sounds like Sunday evening there was more talk about politics than in a Republican debate. And that may be just because the most recent Republican debate, I think they spent more time in a slanging match than debating politics. But even so. Yes, folks, let's we've got to go on. So more hypocrisy. Clinton hypocrisy twice over. First of all, on Super Tuesday, the Massachusetts Secretary of State was forced to remind Hillary Clinton's campaign about state election laws. Former President Bill Clinton was filmed greeting voters inside a Boston area polling location. Massachusetts law strictly prohibits anyone from soliciting votes within 150 feet of a polling location. We actually have something similar in Georgia and in Florida, and the election people used to actually put up signs at the requisite distance and saying no further political activity inside this line. And on top of that, Clinton was actually causing a traffic jam because he was addressing voters in the street outside this polling location, but apparently within 150 feet of it, and was also blocking access to yet another polling location because the whole street was a traffic jam. So, but of course, the laws don't apply to the Clintons. We know that. Same thing as with the email server, as now over 2,500 emails have been discovered to have some level of classification. Now, Hillary claims all the time they were not flagged as such, but on her second day in office as Secretary of State, she signed a piece of paper which said that she understood that information could be classified even if it was not marked as such. So the big question is she going to be prosecuted? Well, if Donald Trump gets in, and maybe even Ted Cruz, perhaps Rubio, then there is a good likelihood that she will be. And so she should be. So the question is whether or not she'll even get to the election, because she may be indicted before then. But at the end of the line, she's a liar, double, treble, quadruple times over. And now we have yet another example. Again, hypocrisy by the Clintons. What is happening this time is there is a fundraiser being arranged And one of the key co-hosts, and by the way, for these events, right, it's called the Hillary Victory Fund, a joint fundraising committee for the Clinton campaign, and it's shared with the DNC and 32 state parties. But the fundraiser is taking place in DC and is being hosted by 4 co-hosts, all of whom are DC lobbyists. Yeah, exactly the people that Donald Trump says he won't be beholden to. And in order to be a co-host, you have to raise at least $5,000 for the Hillary Victory Fund. Now, one of those 4 co-hosts is a lobbying firm, is a lobbyist, and they work on behalf of a company called Valiant Pharmaceuticals. Now, there is an ad which Clinton, right, Hillary, has been playing in Michigan and Kansas, conveying her latest attempt to crack down on drug companies, or at least her promise to do so if she becomes president. And she specifically names in that ad a company called, yes, Valiant Pharmaceuticals. And that's because she accuses this company of engaging in predatory pricing in that actual advert. And she promises to go after the company. And yet one of their lobbyists is a co-host at that fundraising. Is she really going to go after them, or is she just saying it? So people talk about this secret tape of Donald Trump's. When is this going to hit the airwaves? This not so secret tape of Hillary saying one thing on one side of her mouth and doing one thing on the other. Oh, and by the way, Valiant has confirmed that it is currently under investigation by the Securities and Exchange Commission for its controversial drug pricing practices. So folks, that's Hillary all over for you. Next piece of hypocrisy. Let's go across the aisle. Let's go to a certain candidate, Marco Rubio, who during the GOP debate a couple of days before Super Tuesday was leading the charge against Trump. Remember how Rubio and Cruz just absolutely tore into Donald Trump. But Rubio was leading the charge with what he described as the history of Donald Trump hiring foreign workers over American workers. Of course, a little hypocritical, given that Rubio, with the Gang of Eight, had also not done all that much for American workers. So Rubio said, so even today we saw a report in one of the newspapers that Donald, you've hired a significant number of people from other countries to take jobs that Americans could have filled. My mom and dad, my mom was a maid at a hotel, and instead of hiring an American like her, you have brought in over 1,000 people from all over the world to fill those jobs instead. So I think this is an important issue. Well, yes, and everybody heard that. Oh, bad Trump. But Trump explained it, that the 1,000 people that he'd brought in to work in the hotel were in the high season, summer season in Miami, when it's so hot, nobody wants to work, and it was impossible to get people to work. But, you know, Rubio doesn't care. He brought in foreign people. And then Cruz was attacking him for the fact that Trump, or contractors working for Trump, had hired illegal labor from Poland 30 or 38 years ago, and he'd been fined $1 million for that. So if we go back 38 years, well, no, Rubio, is he over 35? Well, I guess he's over 30, so maybe 35. Yeah, the most we can get on him might be the fact that he's that he left a mess in his diaper at that time, if we go that far. But if we go back 20 years, if we go back 15 years, we can find a lot of things on Rubio. Think about the Republican credit cards, and a lot of the time it was said, well, he accidentally used the credit card to pay for things. But all of a sudden, look at the kind of things he was paying for. Landscaping and stuff like that. You don't accidentally pull a card for that. Yes, in a restaurant I can understand it. I've done it myself. Or in a store, you accidentally pull the corporate card instead of your private card. It's happened to me. But for a landscaper, no, that was deliberate. And then he got caught, and then he had to pay it back. So so you've got bad stuff on your side too. But it's hypocritical because think about it. Rubio was not thinking about the American workers when he set up that Gang of Eight bill. He voted for TPP, which is also going to enable lots of foreign workers to come in with no or minimal visas. Anyway, folks, I see that the clock has been ticking and I'm over my commercial break time. So hang on, folks. I will be back.
Patriot come lately. British by birth. American by choice. Just like the Founding Fathers. The voice of the conservative resistance.
Every day, millions of Americans grow more concerned about the future of our great nation. The truth is, over the last century, a small but powerful collectivist movement known as progressivism has debased our politics, our culture, and our currency. We're just a small step from falling into 1,000 years of darkness, as Ronald Reagan warned. Friend, this is Pat Boone with an important free offer on a hot new book called The Great Withdrawal by Craig Smith and Lowell Ponte. This new book explains how we, the people, can end this fatal detour into big government and get back on the path of faith and freedom charted by our founders. Call now for a free copy of the hot new book called The Great Withdrawal.
Call now for your free copy. 800-978-3901. 800-978-3901. 800-978-3901. That's 800-978-3901.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS that you can't pay? Call now for immediate help. At the Tax Relief Line, we help people just like you. If you take on the IRS alone, you could be facing levies, liens, even wage garnishments, personal or business tax issues. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, call now and see if you can pay less. They can freeze your bank accounts, even garnish your wages. Call the Tax Relief Line now for immediate help. Our expert team of tax professionals will negotiate your tax problem and deal with the IRS for you. If the IRS is threatening you with levies, wage garnishments, or seizing your assets, call now and see if you can pay the IRS less.
888-789-5043. 888-789-5043. 888-789-5043. 888-789-5043.
This is Patriot Come Lately Talk Radio, keeping the spirit of America alive, a proud member of the Red State Talk Radio Network.
And good evening, folks. We're into the second half of the show. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately. Just want to mention the fact that Primo's memorial service burial will be Sunday afternoon in Cleveland, Tennessee. So anybody in the area, you can always email me, stefan@patrickcomelately.us. If you would like to pay your respects, I think there's a viewing from 2 till 4 in the afternoon. I'm about an hour and a half, 2 hours south of Cleveland, and I am going to try and get up there on Sunday. I think I would like to do that. But anyway, so but you can email me if you want information about that. If you're in the area, just write to me, Stefan@patrickcomelately.us. and I'll try and help you as much as I can. You can also use that email address for other questions and comments about the show. I mention that every week, but especially now. No long song. Normally, often at this part of the show, I'll play some music. But I'm going to play just a short interlude, but it's another one. I know how much Primo was a fan of the group 38 Special, and he was very proud that he'd got their lead singer to record some clips, and Primo was also very much in favor of our military. So I just want to play this little clip, and then we will go on with some of the other hypocrisy around the political scene today.
This is Jeff Carlisi from the band 38 Special. On behalf of all my conservative rocker friends, I'd like to thank the brave members of our fine armed forces for putting their lives on the line every day to protect our liberty. Thank you. You see it all around you.
Okay, folks, so 38 Special there, like I said, one of Primo's favorite. Okay, well, let's go on with hypocrisy. The media hypocrisy. Media hypocrisy, and this is the whole kerfuffle that came up over the weekend over the fact that Trump had been endorsed by David Duke and then kind of refused to renounce him. Well, he'd already renounced him a couple of times last week, and then he got asked again on Sunday. He's renounced him a number of times Monday and Tuesday. They keep coming back to this. The interesting thing is that this whole David Duke endorsement apparently never happened. So this is something that the press dreamed up and just trying to find another way to pull the rug from underneath him, and demanding again and again and again that he disavowed. And every time he says, I disavow, and then they ask him again, do you disavow? So really trying to trip him up. And one thing I heard was that so the big kerfuffle was on Sunday, because there he said he didn't even know what was being talked about. And what I did hear, again, wasn't able to corroborate this with other sources, but so it's only a single source that said that actually the audio at the time was bad, and he wasn't saying that he didn't know David Duke. That's what they said, but he didn't hear clearly what the name was, and therefore didn't want to react to it. Now, so why is this hypocritical? Lying to me is not hypocritical. That's just plain evil. But it's also hypocritical because they're trying to make Trump into a racist, right? David Duke insists he never endorsed him. But so who invented this lie? The media did. And they conveniently forget that Hillary had glowing praise for former Senator Robert Byrd, who joined the KKK when he was 24 years old because he didn't want to fight along race mongrels, a throwback to the blackest specimen from the wilds, during World War II. So she can support, not even get support from, but she actually gives support to Robert Byrd. But Trump, who's not actually even endorsed by David Duke, has got to disavow him. Folks, bad. Now, but there's more media hypocrisy. Because what happened next was that we were told about 30 black people came to protest at a Donald Trump rally. They were outside the rally, the 30 people were standing there, according to the media. Now again, can we trust the media to tell us the truth? I think not. But they were standing there, supposedly silent. And the media was all up in arms again because the Trump campaign had arranged for these people to be removed. Now, because they were silent, we don't know why they were protesting, but it's likely that they were protesting because of the David Duke so-called smear that the media had been doing. But we don't know for certain because supposedly they were silent. And so the media got in all a tiz about this, about him removing these people, or at least having the Secret Service remove them. However, think about this. Don't you think the well has been poisoned by the Black Lives Matter movement that recently has barged into so many similar events and disrupted them? I think Trump's campaign was just being proactive in having them removed, just in case they turned out to be Black Lives Matter protesters. And I think he's justified in making such a move, right? They could have been silent, pretending to be silent, awaiting the arrival of the candidate, at which time they could have attempted to disrupt the meeting, as BLM has done time and time again for both Sanders and even at a Hillire event, and many others. So, folks, is that bad? But of course, media is trying to turn it into, again, something that is racist. No, Donald Trump is equally mean to everybody, whether they're black, white, yellow, green. And he just saw a possible problem and he acted to get rid of it. And I don't even know if it was him. It could be people from his campaign, but whatever. Okay. But folks, there is more. And now it is time for the GOP hypocrisy. But before I do that, I want to, there was an interesting retweet by Ann Coulter. And of course, nowadays, what I like on Twitter, when you retweet, you can retweet with a comment, and then your comment is basically appended to the original tweet. Well, Ann Coulter got hold of one by Fox News talking about the fact that the GOP is horribly split by this fact that Trump seems to be leading most things and whatever. And I thought Ann summed it up beautifully. She said, yes, the GOP is horribly split. 65 million Americans on one side and 500 pundits, consultants and lobbyists on the other. And doesn't that just exactly say everything? But GOP hypocrisy. Jeff Sessions unleashed a brutal truth bomb about illegal immigration. And I'm not going to read all of it, but it concerns immigration. And as you know, Jeff Sessions did endorse Donald Trump, and probably because of his stand on immigration. But what Sessions announced was that 97% of minors that illegally crossed our border have been allowed to stay. 97%. Only 3 or 4% of the unaccompanied minors in the last 2.5 years have been returned to their home countries, were figures that he announced. And Sessions said, it cannot be that every young person that appears from Central America is entitled to asylum or entry to the United States, which is contrary to our laws. It just cannot be. Does anyone in that in our government understand that? Immigration officials testified that the border crisis could be mitigated if more people were sent home. I don't disagree with that, a senior official at ICE said. I think if you have consequences of deterrence to illegal activity, the illegal activity will slow down. So, Obama promises a massive transformation of America. And thanks to Paul Ryan, because Paul Ryan pushed through an omnibus bill that fully funded Obama's amnesty agenda, this transformation is very well on its way. But before we go to the next piece of GOP hypocrisy, time for some of my hypocrisy. Well, hopefully not hypocrisy, but I do need to pay the rent, folks. So, quick commercial.
The offer of a franchise can only be made through delivery of a franchise disclosure document. Imagine yourself being a leader in America's fastest growing demographic category. More than 10,000 people a day turn 65, and a large percentage are going to need a helping hand at home or in choosing the right assisted living community. Always Best Care is looking for people who've excelled at everything they've done, but they're seeking a new challenge. Always Best Care is one of the fastest growing companies in this explosive field. We're looking for 25 new franchisees to keep our booming business growing. We'll back you up with the strongest award-winning marketing program in the industry, and we'll provide the special training and support that's fueled our growth to prepare you for this great opportunity. All that's missing is you. Call Always Best Care toll-free at 1-800-643-7508. That's 1-800-643-7508. For Always Best Care, 1-800-643-7508. Call today.
Are you worried about losing your home to foreclosure? If you've been threatened with foreclosure or receive legal papers from your bank, you have approximately 30 days to respond. If you do not respond, you could lose your home. You have rights. Act now to protect your rights. You can stay in your home. Many times you can even modify your loan. The bottom line is you can get past this, but you must act right now. Call National Foreclosure Defense right now at 800-296-3006, 800-296-3006. If you've been served by your bank and you're worried about losing your home to foreclosure, now is the time to fight back and save your home. Time is limited, so call right now. 800-296-3006, 800-296-3006. Call the professionals at National Foreclosure Defense right now. 800-296-3006.
If you're diabetic, this message could change your life. Is your blood sugar out of control even when you do all the right stuff? Are you afraid of diabetic blindness and the risk of amputation, as well as all those other side effects? Well, you should be. Is there anything that could help manage your blood sugar? Nobetes is a natural supplement that may quickly and dramatically lower your blood sugar.
My name is Bob Corder. I've been using Nobetes for about 3.5 to 4 months now, and in the first 3 months, I've actually lowered my blood sugars from 500s down to 139, and then it dropped to 88 to 93.
My name is Kirsten. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and while taking Nobetes, my blood sugar levels dropped from 295 to 115 in just 1 day.
The FDA hasn't evaluated these statements, and Nobetes isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But for many, it's helped drop their blood sugar. So if you've been evaluated with high blood sugar, don't delay. Evaluate Nobetes now. Call 800-551-8302 and get your free bottle. Just cover shipping and handling. Call 800-551-8302. That's 800-551-8302.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, coming to you live via the internet, via rebroadcast on WRSDB, the Red State Talk Radio Network, or from the recordings at archives.patrickcomelately.us.
Okay, folks, this is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately. We're into the last segment of the show, and just talking about GOP hypocrisy. So let's start the topic off like I like to do. And this other piece of hypocrisy from the GOP is the fact that the GOP has been talking forever about increasing their tent. Right? They wanted to diversify. They wanted to get more people into the voting Republican. Now all of a sudden someone comes along who's actually bringing new voters into the tent, and they start talking about not voting, or worse still, there are people out there who are actually saying that they will, if Donald Trump is the nominee, they will vote for Hillary. Not Democrats, not independents. These are Republicans that are doing that. Public Republicans. Well, they should be booted out of the party. Well, in actual fact, I wrote a piece about this on Facebook, and I think this would be a good thing for this last part of the show. I called it Conservative Elitists Beware. I'm beginning to get fed up with all the so-called conservative elitists spouting off about how they will refuse to vote for Trump under any circumstances. Folks, this is the primary season, and they have a right to support or oppose any candidate that they wish. However, these incendiary statements, when applied to the general election, show how far these pathetic losers have their heads stuck up their rear ends. Basically, what they're saying is that because Donald Trump might be more liberal than they like, they are prepared to throw away their vote to prove a point and to allow the regressives, Clinton or Sanders or even Kerry or Biden, well, it won't be Sanders probably, but allowing the regressives to assume power, thus giving the Supreme Court to the regressives and dooming us to at least a century of regressive tyranny. In addition, by refusing to vote, they may also contribute to the loss of the Senate, thus allowing Dingy Harry to resume control and to continue his stonewalling of each and every conservative initiative. Worse than that, I even heard some nutcase on Laura Ingraham yesterday, and actually that wasn't the only one, who claimed to be a true conservative, saying that she would rather vote for Hillary than for Trump. If you choose a lying, scheming, treacherous, treasonous, soon-to-be felon over Trump, you are certifiably insane. So folks, yes, do all you can to support who you think is right for this country during the primaries. But once the decision has been made, fall in and support whoever has been selected. If you don't, you are a pathetic loser. No, actually, you are a traitor to the conservative cause by allowing a definite liberal to win over a maybe liberal, and probably a lot less liberal than you whiners lead us to believe. You are a traitor to your faith by allowing yet another godless liberal to continue the attacks on Christian values. You are a traitor to justice by allowing the regressives to take over the Supreme Court with at least one more justice that loves legislating from the bench. And you are most certainly a traitor to this great country. Wake up, America. Remember what is at stake. Our future, our children's future, and our grandchildren's future rests on your decision. So folks, think about that and talk to your friends. I know a lot of you don't like Trump. You think he's brash, and who knows, maybe the secret tape will kind of disqualify him. If it does, so be it. But if not, get used to it and get in line. We can't allow the regressives to take over at all. If we do that, this country is lost, if not for the next, some people have said the next 30 years, I would say at least for the next century, and for many other people, even longer than that, because, we will be totally decimated. Folks, we're getting to the end of the show, so I think tonight I'm going to say goodbye in a slightly different way. Good night, Primo. Rest in peace.
Thank you for listening to the show. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's topics. Whether you listened live, to a recording, or to a rebroadcast, I appreciate the time you share with me. We need to spread the message of liberty far and wide. So please tell your friends and family about the show. Thank you for helping to keep the beacon of hope burning. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately, signing off. God bless America, and remember, L3, long live liberty.